Hello, sports fans. I'm Dudley Thompson, and welcome to Make We Talk Sports here on Roots FM 96.1. And we have a lot to get through today in the world of sports, in terms of track and field, the award ceremony, football, and also netball, and also cricket. A lot to get through here inside Make We Talk Sports. I'm Dudley Thompson. We're live on Roots 96.1 FM. We're also live on our sister page, WDT Media TV. And you can also watch us live and listen us live on here 96.1 FM. Wow, what can we say? And there was no surprise at the award ceremony for the Sportsman of the Year award and Women of the Year award on Friday. No surprise, as you expected that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Tajay Gayle would come out on top. That was a given. So there was actually no surprise there. All right, so we hear more. We're going to hear from Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and also Tajay Gayle later on inside the program. And also in Premier League action locally and also football overseas, where Liverpool looks as though they currently have one hand on the trophy. That is the Barclays English Premier League, and it looks like it's a given that Liverpool should be crowned champions of the EPL come 2019-2020. They have 16-point lead, and they are really making short work of their opponents this time around. All right, and also football locally now. Before we go overseas, and leaders Waterhouse began their run on the West Premier League on a winning note after clipping Vere United by a goal to nil at Wembley Centre of Excellence. That was game was played on yesterday. The Jerusalem-based team club snatched the win at the death with Shaquille Bradford netting in the third minute of stoppage time. And that victory moved Waterhouse to 43 points, while relegation threatened. There remains at the bottom of the table, currently on the threatened tertiary institution, the Sports Complex. Their 10th defeat of the season. They remain 11th on 16 points, 8 points adrift from safety. Tivoli Gardens, on the other hand, are now in a playoff contention as they move up to 7th on 32 points. Defending champions Portman United registered at 2-day. James gave Portman United the victory as they moved to 36 points. From behind, James scored the only goal at Dumbly Holding. The 1-0 win over Cavaliers pushed them into the top 6, while Cavaliers remain 8th. Humble Lions beat Arnett Gardens 3-1 in the late kickoff. And in tonight's fixtures, Harborview will take on Mount Pleasant at the compound. So tonight is Mount Pleasant will take on Harborview at the compound. So that's a quick look there at the list of games played so far over there in England. Let's now go over to of great sport moment for Jamaica. But let's now go now to
Goal against United. The joy of the moment was unbridled. Liverpool's first league title in 3 decades now feels like it's close enough to touch. The players don't like to talk about it, but the fans couldn't help chanting it.
Oh, they can sing that, but they sang that a couple of times in the past, I think. It's absolutely no problem. That's always like it is. Everybody should celebrate the situation, apart from us. So that's easy as that. And we have no problem with that. So it's just nothing changed. We have exactly the same situation, plus 3 points than before the game, which is great, wonderful, unbelievable. But nothing else changed. So I tell you immediately in the moment when it feels different.
So after 22 games, Liverpool have amassed an extraordinary 64 points. They're unbeaten and have won every game except one. Their lead over the defending champions Manchester City is 16 points, and Liverpool have a game in hand on top of that.
all right, and there you have it there. The Liverpool so far a 16-point lead atop the tables, and they have one hand on the trophy for the first title in over 30 years if they can hang on to win this one. Liverpool there in the Barclays Premier League. All right, and before football again, and now for the female, and Waterhouse and Olympic Gardens will contest the finals of the JFF Women's Knockout Competition after both teams completed semi-final victories over Arnett Gardens and Cavalier, respectively. On Saturday, Waterhouse hammered Arnett Gardens 9-0 in their second leg semifinals to take the tie 17-1 on aggregate. Olympic Gardens, their neighbors from Clinking Oval, advanced 6-4 on aggregate over Cavaliers after beating them 4-1 in the return encounter. The finals will be played next Saturday at a venue to be announced. That's a good going there for Waterhouse and Olympic Gardens. Cricket now, before cricket now, it was on cricket now as the West Indies under 19 got their ICC World Cup campaign off to a winning start after registering a 3-wicket win over Australia at Kimberly, South Africa on Saturday, chasing 180 for victory. Young West Indies got their target on 180 for 7 of 46 overs. Player of the match, that's Naheem Young of Barbados, led the way with a well-played 61 of 69 deliveries after coming to the crease rather, with a young Caribbean side struggling at 73 for 4. Young also shared a crucial 78 runs, fifth wicket stand with Matthew Ford, who made 23. Jamaica's Kirk Mackenzie left not out on 7. This was the first time the West Indies were beating Australia in the ICC Under 19 World Cup. The West Indies Under 19 will now play in action today when they take on England. All right, so a good going there so far for both players. All right, we're gonna switch gears now to the the big one now, and the award ceremony that was held on Saturday night, and it is and world champions, that's world champions Tajay Gayle and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, as you all know by now, and they are the RJ GLEANER Sports Foundation National Sportswoman and Man of the Year. For the 20-year-old Gayle was winning for the first time, while Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce winning for the fourth time, not consecutive. All right, Sharika Jackson was runners up to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, while Frederick Dakers was running to more than Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. And we say good game going for Shelly-Ann. Let's hear now. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce doing her acceptance speech at the ceremony. Let's now hear from Miss Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
I'm just excited again to be here. I would like to give God thanks because I've always said that all good and perfect gifts come from God. And one of the things I'm I'm also grateful for is that, it's time. Timing is everything. And I would like to congratulate all the nominees tonight for continuing to excel in their different fields and continuing to be trailblazers for those to come and those behind us. Even though I am the sportswoman of the year, you are all in your own way and your own form sportswomen as well. In the last 3 or 4 years since I've been away, one of the 3 valuable lessons I've learned while, being away is endurance, consistency, and focus. While on my comeback, I understood the importance of being patient, and then you have to work hard towards those. Let's continue to write our stories only, because at the end of the day, they will tell the story of how hard we have worked to overcome our challenges. I am here tonight. We speak about a village, and it takes a village to raise a child, and obviously I'm not a child, but it took a village to get me here tonight, and I must acknowledge my family, of course, my husband and my son, Jason and Zion, my family and my friends, my coaches, and all the staff and members of the MVP Track Club, and most importantly, sponsors, Nike, Grace Kennedy, and Digicel. Thank you, of course, and stay journey with me. I'm really of all your efforts and just your time that you continue to pour into me. And as I continue to evolve, and I look forward to my 4th Olympic Games, I pray that I continue to inspire our generation to understand that you write your own story. Nobody gets to write your story. So as we continue to excel in our different fields, I'm just excited about where track and field is and where we're headed. So, ladies and gentlemen, the RJR Group Foundation, thank you so much for making me your Sportswoman of the Year. So thank you very much.
I hear there from Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce there, and the winner for 2019 for her exploits in just concluding the World Championships. And she also received the People's Choice Award as well for Performance of the Year in her victory in Doha in the World Championships in track and field. And Gayle also received the Men's Track and Field Athlete of the Year award. And the iconic award went there to former West Indies fast bowler legend Courtney Andrew Walsh. Received the iconic award. The Chairman's Award, the VMBS Youth Award, went to Carter Alex Powell for becoming the first Jamaican to sign a Formula One contract at the age of 11. Yes, VMBS Award went to Carter Alex Powell, 11-year-old, and he signed a Formula One. Become the first Jamaican to sign with the Formula One team at age 11. All right, and we're going to hear now, and we open a quick break. We'll take a quick commercial. We're going to come back. We'll hear from the man himself. We have Tajay Gayle. All right, so take a quick break, and we'll come back here from Tajay Gayle.
Child deserve protection, proper parenting that's a part of the plan. Educate them about the right and wrong. Don't beat them, put down the belt, yeah man. Talk openly to your child about safety. I've been seeing that one in the country lately. If I them alone, don't make them go places. Teach them to run away from danger, don't face it. That's right. Protect the children, please. Me don't want to see no bruise on them knees. No, protect the children, please. Especially in times like these. Why? Protect the children, please. Make them bloom like flowers and trees. Why? Protect the children, please. Me I beg you no. Protect the children, please. Bullying need to stop. Corporate punishment that need to stop. Beating a whip pot that need to stop. No let them alone or when the grill. Read the child care protection act. Best interest and safety them have that lock. Support them will help with that.
A message from the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA.
God never said the road would be easy, but remember, faith is the moving cause of all action. Join us every Wednesday for the program Touch Me with Pastor Hall and team from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Roots 96.1 FM for all your inspirations, healing, and deliverance. That's Touch Me every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m.
All right, and welcome back now to Make We Talk Sports, and it's 96.1 on the FM dial. We're also live on WDT Media TV as well. Done a long jump. James Beckford won silver on bronze before, but this man, first man of the year.
And grew up in the rural area of Albertstown, where is now the world champion. The RJR Sportsman of the Year. Albertstown, a place most called the ghetto. Where the odds are against young youths like me
But I guess this only proves one point, and this shows you that great. That didn't stop me. And the best man in the world, along with Coach Osborne and MVP and UTEC team and Puppy High community. I would like to thank my sponsors, Puma, for coming along and journey with me. And as I prepare for Tokyo 2020, I'm gonna need all the support I can get, so I'm on top now. I mean, Jamaica is on top now. We on top now, so let's stay there. Thank you again and good night.
All right, heard there from the Sportsman of the Year. That is Tajay Gayle. Yeah, man. The one say greatness can come from anywhere. Not anyone can be it. A name athlete at Boys and Girls Champ. But no, he's a world champion in long jump. And he's coached there by Stephen Francis. And for those who are assuming that Francis can only coach hurdles and sprinters, think again. The man is doing a great job in track and field. Produced host of sprinters over the years, world record holders, Olympic and world champion in sprint and hurdles. And now, long jump, Stephen Francis. And we told you earlier, the Chairman's Award, yes, it was initiated as his assistant. Women's World Cup in France. And they were duly recognized again at World Championships. We have to wait and see. Winston Gel, they say, all right, congratulations. Thanks, Winston Gel. All right, yes, let's the Winston Gel. All right, over there in the USA. And bless the Winston Gel log on as usual. Over there, say it will be happening today. But you know, we have to be on air doing Make We Talk Sports. We just would not be there. All right, to give you footage of that event as per usual on the channel. All right, it's 96.1 on the FM band. We continue inside Make We Talk Sports. And a quick new, but before we go to horse racing, we're going to go now to continue on the RJR Football of the Year Award ceremony. And the, from Douglas Arrain ceremony. All right, from Mr. Arrain.
Debbie here, one medal in a. We follow the Reggae Boys to the France. After beating Japan 2-1, scoring 2 goals that day. Thank you, wherever you are. Fast forward to Doha in October 2019. Now there are at least 20 times as many Jamaicans present in the stands, and we're sitting in the best seats right in front of the finish line. They're not wagonists. They just want to be there to this. And you know, one of the things I found by as a spectator, over half of them don't live in Jamaica. They're Jamaicans from US, Canada, UK, the Middle East, all over the world, who reunite every year to cheer for our athletes. So I'll see them again in Tokyo. I'm sure they're watching online. So here we are, and in the bus returning from the stadium now at Doha. What is the banter about? It's about the newly emerging younger generation of. I was primarily selected because I've been a spectator at international athletic events since 1996. So I am so, and the loud hard work has made us so proud in different sports. Thank you, our athletes. Thank you very much. Give them a big round of applause. All of this wouldn't have been possible without the army of volunteers who provide the critical foundation for the success of our many sports at the grassroots level. It's exceedingly important that in our search for improvement, we never cause sports to lose a vital connection between our volunteers and our local communities. And I see so many of you in the audience. Thank you, volunteers. A round of applause to usually we just see them scurrying around in the stadium and we say, I wonder who that is. And we see them every year and they've been there doing this work so unselfishly. However, the world is changing, sometimes imperceptibly, sometimes with a jolt. New opportunities and threats presenting themselves in sport as the years go by.
The types of decisions that now need to be made are frequently more complex, more commercial, multidisciplinary, and high-profile in nature. Those entrusted with the responsibility to take these decisions now need to be quick. In the last 2 decades, national sports organizations elsewhere in the world have been moving far ahead of us in the adoption of good corporate governance. What is corporate governance? It's a combination of rules, processes, and laws by which an entity is operated for the benefit of all its stakeholders, without exception. In my business career, I learned the importance of corporate governance, not only in reinforcing a spirit of integrity, but also that it makes good business sense. Stakeholders want to do business with people who are trustworthy and transparent in their approach. Don't we all? Is that the kind of service providers you would like? So, I now recognize, and it really came home to me in the last few days as I researched for this speech, that one of the biggest tectonic shifts worldwide in the last 2 decades has not been on the playing fields, but instead in the professionalization of the administration of sports. For example, national sports entities have steadily moved towards having a paid chief executive officer running their organization so as to ensure effective management and the achievement of measurable goals. What gets measured gets done. I learned that early in my business life. And these individuals are held accountable for performance by their respective boards, including the implementation and sustain Sport Australia. What did I learn? Both have adopted very comprehensive codes for sports governance. This requires effectively functioning boards and committees, accurate and timely financial statements over the last 20 years online. To have implemented these governance codes go further. Annual board evaluations, annual surveys of athletes to get directors and executive committee, developing a skills matrix to lead to the right mix of talent to run the organizations, and ensuring appropriate voting rules. Interestingly, there's also a recommendation that the maximum service on these organizations be 9 years, so as to make room for fresh talent to participate more actively. We need to learn from these trends and act accordingly. Someone may ask though, isn't this all overwhelming? Let me share my emotions as I educated myself on how these organizations now run. It was deja vu. I felt as though I was back at Grace Kennedy in the late 1990s, learning to implement good corporate governance, because that's what the world increasingly required of us at Grace Kennedy if we were to become robust world players. And we did it. Not only us, but many other entities in Jamaica. Here's an idea for those in the audience running national sports bodies. You can go to the Jamaica Stock Exchange website and search for the winners in their annual governance competition and see what has been done by these companies to lift standards in the last few years. The same is true of the public sector bodies who recently topped the PSOJ Ministry of Finance Corporate Governance Awards. All done by Jamaicans right here in Jamaica. The solution lies right here with us. This is where the world is going, and we can't afford to be left behind in sports. In Jamaica, it is my belief, and this is a personal one, that the Sports Development Foundation would be the best organization to implement such a process. There are some sports bodies that have already laid the foundation for good governance, but we need to do more. Those entities who want to donate and partner in the sports arena are demanding greater accountability and transparency before they part with their money. This accountability and transparency are even more important since we are a developing country where sport is competing with many other areas for resources. I did a rough calculation to compare the investment by the UK government in sports compared with our own. UK Sport, which is a government entity similar to SDF, spends about £5 sterling per UK inhabitant per year on sports. Our SDF spends the equivalent of £1 per Jamaican inhabitant on sports. Both are funded by income sports. We need to triple the amount that is being invested in the sports industry. And we'll still be far way behind the UK and other countries with whom we compete. I'm sure those who are gambling regularly in Jamaica would be delighted to know that the money that they did not win is being invested in the sporting industry in their own country. So let's go for it, folks. But I hope this is music to your ears when at the next cabinet meeting next week, Monday. As I sat in different stands surrounded by other enthusiastic Jamaican spectators at various venues around the world, I've thought deeply about the possibilities of monetizing the synergies of business and sport. It's clear there's a wide spectrum from which to choose how to benefit, from sports apparel companies aiming to sell products to involvement as part of social responsibility through corporate donations. Let me give an example in which I'm personally involved. I have the honor to chair Greenfield Media Productions Limited, a joint venture between ISO and Grace Kennedy, and managed by Grace Kennedy. Greenfield was formed in 2015 in order to protect and develop ISO's intellectual property for the ultimate benefit of ISO and the Jamaican sporting community. This joint initiative has significantly increased ISO's earnings from its intellectual property, thus allowing the flexibility for additional investment in sports in schools across Jamaica. To be specific, ISO earns significantly more from their approximate half of their joint venture surplus than they did when they were going it alone before, plus having the added benefits of robust corporate governance in place. And Keith Wellington, who is the chairman of ISO, at the after party, you can ask him how much more. It is a startling figure. But I think it shows that there's a benefit for public sector, private sector, or NGO, private sector collaborations in a formal sense. The key to maximizing the commercial benefits of sports resides in building partnerships between specific sports and companies with a long-term commitment, so that the power of branding between the sport selected and the company is synergized. In my simple way of expressing it, so that it's understandable, 2 + 2 = 7. That's what Greenfield has done, but ours is more like 2 + 2 = 11. But ask Keith about it afterwards. There are not yet a lot of examples of this in Jamaica, but a clue can be found in studying how it's done abroad and applying the lessons learned. An interesting example of monetizing sports activities is the work of the Jamaica Olympic Association in building partnerships which act as conduits for the exchange of coaches and athletes between countries for mutual benefit. The JOA has also been implementing systems to ensure more effective governance in its member organizations. Monetizing sports through tourism has a major upside potential. I ran in long-distance races for many years, including the Reggae Marathon in the Grill each December. It was a pleasure to be surrounded by the large number of foreigners who traveled to Jamaica for this event, most of them running past me halfway through the race, but nevertheless. And afterwards, they were full of praise of it being one of the best road races that they had experienced anywhere. The majority of the approximately 2,000 who participate come from overseas, and they typically bring a partner for their runcation. I learned that word from Frano 2 days ago. What other opportunities are there for sports tourism? Let's use our own Jamaican-made example, the template of Reggae Marathon, and see how we can replicate it over and over. Before I close, I want to briefly explore a couple examples of the use of sports as an antidote to crime. I commend the Jamaican boxing community on implementing their Gloves Over Guns initiative, encouraging our young Jamaicans also, you know about it. It's a fantastic initiative. They're pursuing the discipline and the intensity of boxing and other martial arts rather than joining a gang for young men and young women as well. I understand there are now over 500 young people actively engaged in this program. In researching overseas, I came across this fascinating story of a man named John McAvoy in the UK. He grew up in a family of armed robbers, and by his late teens, he was on a similar path, was soon convicted, spent 10 years in jail, took up indoor rowing while incarcerated to channel his pent-up stresses, and improved to set a world record for indoor rowing by doing so for over 45 hours continuously. On release from prison, he dedicated himself to become a triathlete, now sponsored by Nike, but he did something else. He dedicated his time to encouraging young men to pursue sports rather than crime, and to therefore live a productive life. A question for all of us: how do we encourage a Jamaican equivalence of a John McAvoy? This is a role for our business community to find ways to engage individuals who have been through the most tenuous circumstances, pay the price, and now have the potential to change the lives of the younger generation surrounding them. Let me end with a quote by Nelson Mandela. Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to you in a language they understand. I thank you.
All right, you heard here from, and he was the guest speaker there, Douglas O'Rain. All right, not there, monetize sporting performances, and also transparency and accountability are the key for a sport organization to access corporate sponsorship. Just heard here from Douglas O'Rain. All right, 96.1 on the FM. Then we're going to go down to our outstanding sporting moment. Yeah, man, our outstanding sporting moment. Take it back to a time when Jamaica tend to forget this one. Very outstanding with Merlin Owen, Jamaica. The 1991 World Championships. We won the gold medal in the sprint relay with Merlin Joyce Otti on the anchor leg. Yes, man. Who will person remember that one? Way back in 1991. Let's now relive that outstanding moment in a Jamaican sport. Merlin Joyce Otti on anchor.
This is the exchange between between the first leg and the second leg. The final of the 4 by 100 meters relay. Nigerians got away very quickly at the block, but Brewer now is in full stride. Also going well free from the outside, the Soviet Union. On the first change is the Soviet Union with a slight lead. Second to go for them is Maltakina. And now goes Crabber down the back straight, and Crabber absolutely flying. She's cut them right back, and Crabber's taken Germany into the lead. The Soviet Union probably second, right up there Nigeria and Jamaica as well. And it's Germany, the Soviet Union and Jamaica together. Dressler on the last leg. Oh, they're in trouble. She's over to the standstill. And Otti coming through for Jamaica, and Otti gets her revenge. Otti comes home with a gold medal for Jamaica. The Soviet Union get the silver, and Germany the bronze.
Have to do it twice.
And the German relay work, usually so perfect when they appeared as the East German team, came apart then, and the exchange between Sabine Richter and Heike Drexler. But Otti came into the team, a new Commonwealth record of 41.94. It's outside the championship record. And I wonder if Crabber now will decide to go for gold and go for broke by running a 4 by 400. Kovtun run a very good leg for the Soviet Union, 3 from the outside here. Britt Brewer started to cut down on the Nigerian or the Germans. But try and watch Crabber, 3 from the inside down the back straight. She absolutely flew. Changeover was quite a solid one, but the Soviet Union had the lead here, and it's GLEANER, the bronze medalist in the European, that Crabber's chasing, but she takes so much back. She puts the Germans in a winning position. The change here to Richter was a good one. And
back in 1991.
As the stagger unwinds, the Germans should be in the lead. Drexler sets off. One or two people have suggested she suspect on this, and well, she's running so many East German winning teams. One finds it rather surprising, but certainly the pattern changing there cost the Germans the gold medal, and a very fast time indeed. Otti comes steaming through. 2 bronze, which was favourite for gold in both 100 and 200 metres in the World Championship.
Next up, the United States found that out in the semis when they went out, dropping the back. Good Breuer on the lead-off leg, going well. So too are the Jamaicans there. Breuer didn't make up too much ground. The handovers are all good, and this is Catherine Crabber. And Catherine Crabber is already running a stormer. She's got right past the Nigerians. She's up for the Jamaicans as well. That is not the greatest handover, but it's okay. Sabina Richter, Germany in the lead, going well the Soviet Union, and Jamaica with Merliotti on the last leg. Germany having done a great handover. Almost the back, a terrible handover from the Germans. They're under the trouble. Heidi Richter on this side, rebounder, and Merliotti comes storming through to give Jamaica the goal. Soviet Union silver, and the Germans who messed up the last changeover horribly only get the bronze.
All right, and that was our outstanding sporting moment. We took you back to 1991 World Championships when Jamaica female sprint relay team won the gold medal in that 4x100 meter relays with Otti on the anchor leg, as you heard. And the time was 41.91 seconds for that win. Second there went to Soviet Union in 42.20. Third went to Germany, 42.33. And fourth went to Nigeria, just missed the bronze there, 42.77. France came fifth in 43.39. Cuba, other Caribbean team in the finals, can finish sixth in 43.75 seconds. With Italy, European team, finishing seventh in 43.76. With Australia, coming in down the track there in 43.79 seconds. So both Jamaicans, they remember this one. You remember the post Usain Bolt era and the Herb McKenna era. But little did people remember that 1991 World Championships, Jamaica female team won the gold medal in the 4x100 meter relays. And that was how we conclude our outstanding sporty moment, a flashback from the past. All right. As we wind down, make we talk sports for another Monday. Recapping now what happened earlier in the program. Congratulations to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and to Tajay Gayle for cupping the Sportsman and Woman Award for 2019. They also heard both giving their victory speeches at the ceremony was held at the Pegasus Hotel. And Douglas Arrain, the guest speaker, and is encouraging Jamaican sport organizations to monetize sports, and also transparency and accountability is the key to attract corporate sponsors and also good governance, as you heard there from Douglas Arrain. With it all right, and also you heard there we gave you Premier League run up, and West Indies got out to winning start 20 under 20 Cricket World Cup when they beat Australia. The very first time that the West Indies team is beating Australia in an under 90 inside Gardens will contest big wins in it. So Arnett Gardens, they advanced 6-4 over Olympic Gardens, advanced 6-4 over Arnett Gardens. Go again. Arnett Gardens, Waterhouse advanced 9-0 in their second leg to win 71 on aggregate. Olympic Gardens win 6-4 over Cavaliers, and they won the second leg 4-1 to go with that one. And also on the Barclays Premier League, as their 16 point lead And if they just keep focus, they could just win their first title in over 30 years in the English Premier League. And also, and now in horse racing, last one in horse racing, and that's 8-1 shot. Don Robin created a mild upset in the overhead allowance contest, going over 5.5 furlongs. Five-time champion jockey, apprentice Anthony Allen, and trainer herself, and they both doubles. They both double. Waterhouse Trenton Ewing also beat Dumble Holding. Clip copy Harbour View hosting Mount Pleasant 8 p.m. game at the Compel. Yes, up there on the ferry. Sorry, on the cruise ship. Now in Port Royal. Thanks, Winston Gel, and for good update there live here on our social media pages. And it also say congratulations to Tajay Gayle for winning the prestigious RGR Athlete of the Year award. Yes, thanks to Winston Gel, and for congratulating the Tajay Gayle. He's young, and wish him all the best going forward. Hopefully, he can add the Olympic gold with world champions. Go for the world record in long jump. All right, St. Francis, the coach of Tajay Gayle. I think world record is not beyond him. The world record. All right, go for the world record there. All right, so have for yourselves a wonderful day. And this has been Make We Talk Sports.